Here's a,
Let me just get myself opened here. All right, I'm waiting for my computer to open, but it is 5:45, so we have a public forum comment period if anybody wants to address us. Just a couple of guidelines and rules. It doesn't look like we have that many people here, so feel free to take as long as you might need to. We just ask that you sign in on the sheet so that we know who was here for the minutes, and then just when you get to the podium, just introduce yourselves. And then we like, if someone's talking, don't talk over them, just so that we get everything recorded properly. So, otherwise, we're here to listen, and this isn't a time where we decide or vote on anything, but we're willing to listen and engage in a conversation about whatever's on your mind. So, thanks, Jennifer. Is there air on?
Well, let me see if there is.
The last time I got a little warm.
It's only 72.
Okay. It felt like it was on.
I didn't want to mind that
We'll
one.
cool it down a little.
Last since Thursday. He came today and fixed it. He was down in the store at 2.
Go for it, yeah.
That was more it cost. Bill.
Hi, I'm Jeff Youngkin. I'm here to talk about a truck and trailer that came down the cartway between our property and Katie Westland's property. I don't know if you're aware of it or how much you'd like me to explain what happened, or if you're aware of it. But a 48-foot trailer came down that cartway and on a Sunday, May 16th, and proceeded to park in the back of the lot as far as they could put it back and still get the tractor out from underneath it, going up against Aldon Park's property and wiggling around and getting back out, put it right on the property line of the cartway. That happens to be 150 feet past the garage and 250 feet past the house, where you would assume if it was there for loading and unloading, which that's what everybody's been told, that it's been there for unloading. It's an odd place to put it, 15 feet away from my daughter and her husband's trampoline, rainbow play system, 30 feet from a pool. Put it in the back of the lot. And later, and the police were called immediately. I told them, don't even unhook from it because I don't think you're going to be allowed to keep it there. But they unhooked from it and the guy left. And the sequence of events that happened later on that afternoon, when things kind of cooled down, one of the neighbors went and talked to Katie and said, "Why would you do that?" And her response was, "If I can't have chickens, this is what they're going to get to look at." So it was done out of spite and vengeance rather than to unload, as everyone has been made to believe that there's actually something in the trailer, which is yet to be proven. It was parked there on May 16th. It was opened up for the first time that we know, because we've been watching, on June 5th, 20 days later. They don't mow the grass. If a truck would have been backed up to the back of it, or if there had been foot tracks, then with the dry as it's been, you'd be able to see, and there'd been no activity. And somehow, we just figured common sense is gonna play a role here, and she's gonna have to move it. There's gonna, something is gonna happen here. And she was granted 11 weeks to unload the trailer till August 1st. Now, I've been in the trucking business all my life. I know what it takes to unload a load. That could be accomplished in about 4 to 5 hours. So maybe there wasn't people immediately on hand that day. So maybe a week could have been granted to get the people together to unload the truck. Nothing. And it sits there. And I guess Part B of the zoning thing is what applies to this. It's not downtown parking, it's not Part A, it's Part B. And it says in there, for the purpose of unloading and loading and during such time as is reasonably necessary for such activity. And I guess I need to ask the question, where did we pull 11 weeks, 2 weeks before the kids get out of school, to 2 weeks before they go back to school, as a reasonable amount of time to accommodate that activity? If common sense could be applied here, if this would happen in any other neighborhood than sleepy little Hudson Street and Minnesota Street, you'd have a herd of people here if this happened in Heatherwood, if it happened in the Clodic Edition, if it happened in Willow Acres, if it happened somewhere in a higher end of town. And to set a precedent of 11 weeks, what are we telling somebody who has an issue with the neighbor that, well, they got 11 weeks, I can park an old piece of junk trailer, eyesore, and that seems to be the norm, because that's what they hand out. I'm just asking for common sense here. How did we get to allow 11 weeks to accommodate something that basically takes 4 hours? I don't think it's that vague that you can just randomly pull that and say, that should be acceptable. Because in our viewpoint, and this is the neighborhood we live in, that is an eyesore. And everybody that's from Algon Park that walks by gives us their sympathy for, oh my God, you guys have such a beautiful yard and a beautiful courtyard, and you decorate it so nice, and to have that eyesore in the back of your lot. I feel for you. Yeah, and if I've heard that once, I've heard it 100 times from the people that walk that street, from Algon Park, and from other parts of the town that come down there. So, I've said my piece. I'm just asking for, how did we get that for an answer for a 4-hour job? You know, maybe a week. 11 weeks? I don't know. It's an eyesore. So.
Well, I certainly don't have an answer for how 11 weeks was determined. I don't know, Chief, if you want to speak to that or not. But I do know I got an email from somebody else on this same topic.
I have pictures for all of you also.
And I've seen it, so I'm good. But I know the proposal was that we, as a council, look at amending the ordinance to include a strict time limit or more of a definition of reasonable. And I think that's something that we can certainly look at in the future. Given though that this timeline of August 1st was set, I don't know that we have a way of enforcing anything other than August 1 at this point. But I agree that it's something we could look at and prevent this from happening going forward.
We don't even know if there's anything in the trailer.
I understand. Yeah.
Nobody's ever even come back to look to see if activity of loading and or unloading is taking place.
I guess the issue I'm having, Sean, is that if it's in the city ordinance already, and what do you consider reasonable?
The word reasonable is in there, yes.
Right, and that's what what I'm worried about, because once you start allowing some to get away with it, then you're gonna have the finger pointing going back and forth, and to tell you the truth, I'm tired of hearing about this issue. And I think something should get done, otherwise this is just gonna get more expensive and more tense as things go along. And I'm sure you have better things to do with your time than that, and I know we do too.
I don't disagree with any of that. I'm curious, I mean, where'd August 1st come from? There must be some rationale behind it.
Just consultation with other city staff on what we thought was best. I mean, for a business to unload a trailer, I don't doubt that it would take 4 to 5 hours. For, you know, a resident who, you know, doesn't have family, doesn't have people in this area to do that, whose husband works and isn't around, you know, all the time, you know, we gave them a period of time that we felt was reasonable to get it done, and encouraged it to get done as soon as possible. Ultimately, can't necessarily force them to do it any sooner without setting a different timeline for them, but, you know, there's discussion about potentially 6 months, potentially doing it by, you know, having until the snow fly. We didn't, you know, out of respect in the neighborhood, we didn't want it to drag on that long, which is why we set essentially what amounted to, at that time, 2.5 months.
Okay. And the reason why I say I don't know that we can go shorter at this point is if it's not cured by August 1st, then there'd be some sort of enforcement action taken against it. And with that, there needs to be a notice period prescribed. And in order to secure, like if there's a case filed in criminal court for the enforcement violation, the argument's going to be, well, we were told 11 weeks was reasonable, but then you came back later and said, well, now you don't have what you told us originally. So I think going forward, yeah, maybe 11 weeks was too long. I don't know. I don't know enough about what's in there. You've talked to the owner, but I think certainly we can take a look at the ordinance language and try and pin that down a little bit better and keep this in mind for potential future occurrences. My biggest concern, and it's not that I don't sympathize with you, but if we went over there and said, get it out by Friday, or we're going to start an enforcement action, is that then that's going to be lost because of the initial timeline that was given. But I wouldn't want it in my backyard either.
It's not pretty.
What's that?
I said it's not pretty.
Oh, God, no. Rusty old trailer. Doubt it's even DOT, doubt it's even legal to be on the road. It's a scary looking thing.
It's a very unique situation too, because of the cartway and because of the way the property is set up. Because while it is legally someone's property, it looks as though it is another person's property. So I understand that being a concern as
That
well.
being a shared driveway, how is she able to drive it down her shared driveway like that?
That's a technical question that's gonna, I don't know the language of the deed or the easement that allows the shared driveway.
Because it's 6 feet on each side of the road and then 12 feet is the cartway.
And I think if
Can we
there's, we're
discuss
not
this at a
looking for
working
you to
session?
come in and tell her to move it by
I don't
next
think there's
week or
anything we
any
can do
sooner. I think
about
we
it.
just really want you to look at that ordinance and maybe define it and realign the timelines on that going forward.
No, and I think that that is something where, you know, when the ordinance is drafted, we think it's going to work really well if we put this language in there. And then in application, maybe it doesn't. And this is one where we've seen the application of it, so now maybe we can revise it and tweak it so that it's working in the future. So, I appreciate you guys coming in and raising the concerns. We've heard you. We do have 1 minute left. I'm assuming you were all here on the same topic.
We were,
I
yep.
didn't want to just assume, but I thought.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I think they're all the same.
Tarek, I see you're logged in. Are you able to hear us and everything?
Yep, I can, well, I can't really see you, but I'm here.
You are on the computer at your usual station, so I don't know if
Okay.
that helps anything.
Oh, well, yeah, there I am, all right. There you are, no bow tie today.
No bow tie today, sorry. There you go.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
All right, it is 6 o'clock, so we'll call our meeting to order. Pledge allegiance. Right, so before we start with our activity reports, I will just note, old business, letter B. I did ask Jennifer pull that, it's the discussion of the future of the K-9 program. Instead of discussing that tonight, I thought that was better suited for our next working session. So that will be added to the agenda of our working session and discussed there. Going further in the council activity report, I don't have a ton to report. We had our meeting with the mobile home park residents. I thought that went really well. We got some very insightful information from them out there, along with some bits of homework. And then we had a policies and procedures meeting on the 9th. Oh, we had a budget and finance in the meantime as well. Heard from the department heads on some of the purchases that are coming up, so. Other than that, that's all I have. Councilmember Hertzberg.
Same, that's all the activity, the meeting at the trailer park and the finance meeting where department heads gave us their wants for the next year. Pretty much it. We had no public works tonight. We're on vacation, I guess.
All right. Councilwoman Brick.
I also attended the meeting at the mobile home court on May 26th, and we had a park and tree board, a special meeting on June 2nd where we toured the St. Joe parks. So it was cool. And then at some point in there, I don't have the date, but I had a tour with a public works worker. I don't know if you remember when that was, Ron, and I get to tour the water treatment place and the irrigation and all that, so that was really interesting.
Okay. Councilwoman Soini.
I just had a liquor board meeting last week. Lots happening there, and in the future.
Councilman Phelan.
Was at the trailer park meeting, also the policies and procedures, and then I sat in on the liquor board meeting to get more familiar with it.
All right. Looking at our department head reports, Mr. Morgan.
All right, thank you. First of all, I was asked quite a number of times today, are we under any water restrictions or watering bans? And the answer at this point is no. We are, at this point, we're running about 890,000 gallons per day. That is for the month of June, and that is up roughly 300,000 a day from our winter averaging. At this point, I guess we'll just ask residents that you water wisely. Put out rain barrels, generally water in the evening and early morning. Do not water from, say, 10 o'clock in the morning till 6 in the evening. So, over in the parks, the reservations are going quite well. I believe we have right around 25 now, so virtually every weekend we do have activity out there. If anybody went by the splash pad during the day, it is generally very busy. Evenings also. Crews are out sweeping streets and working with the chamber, getting ready for our Town and Country Days here. At the airport, we did complete the 503 inspections. The FAA was out here, and that also triggered a pavement inspection by MnDOT, and they will be out here. I believe it's tomorrow and Wednesday. That's all I have.
Mr. Al-Rafai.
Again, at the policies and procedures meeting, I think one of the items to note in there, we discussed maybe, or the possibility of changing some of the interview process. But why that's relevant is, as you know, we're still have a couple of open positions within the city, and we're trying to fill them, but of course now with the labor market the way it is, it's been a bit challenging for that. In addition to that, I continue to see some improvement or interest in doing something in a proposed new industrial park. So there are a couple of companies that are showing interest in doing that, which of course would be great for us because one of the things we're trying to do is to enhance or grow on the existing industrial space. And for some companies to show interest right now, I think that's excellent. So we're continuing to work on that. And finally, the city treasurer and I, we attended an LMC webinar because they will be releasing some of the Federal Rescue Plan Act funds soon. And they're just giving directions on how to complete the necessary applications. So that should be coming soon, and we are looking forward to applying for that.
Thank you. So moving on to our consent agenda, which includes the minutes listed on page 1 of our agenda, along with the approval of the vouchers totaling $275,169.59. Does anyone wish to have anything pulled, or is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Soini, to approve the consent agenda. Any further discussion on that? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. That carries. Okay. Moving on then to our new business, the tax abatement with Lewis Industries. We have a proposed agreement here with Northland Securities for the financial planning, and then we'd be looking for a motion to set the public hearing date on July 12th at 6:30 p.m. Tarek, I don't know if you want to tell us anything more about that, otherwise we'd be looking for a motion.
I'll just add a little bit for everybody's, information. Tax abatement is different than TIF. Tax abatement, when you do TIF, it's the city, the school district, and the county that all participate mandatory. But in a tax abatement, each entity can choose whether or not they want to participate, as well as how much they're willing to participate. And for the Lewis Industries abatement, both the county and the school district have agreed to give them the full amount they're asking for over 9 years. And they are asking the same of us. So that's something that we will be discussing later.
Any questions for Tarek? Otherwise,
The $5,000 application fee, does that go towards the up to $6,500 we'll pay Northland?
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to set the Lewis tax abatement public hearing for Monday, July 12th at 6:30 p.m.
Second.
we have a motion by Soini, seconded by Hertzberg, to set the Lewis tax abatement public hearing for Monday, July 12th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. Any further discussion on that? None. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. That carries.
I'll make the motion to approve the financial planning agreement between the City of Painesville and Northland Securities Incorporated.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Soini, to approve the financial planning agreement between the city and Northland Securities. Any further discussion on that? None. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. That carries. All right. Airport fly-in and air show, page 16 of our agenda.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I guess I'd like to commend the Friends of the Airport for putting this here together. They have done an enormous amount of work here already, and it looks like this is going to be a very good show. They did obtain their 501c3 or have applied for it, so the large event permit there is not required at this point. They have 4 performers planned for. They're planning to give rides out at the airport. There's going to be some displays out there. It's going to open at 9 o'clock. Air shows will begin at 1 o'clock. Concessions will be provided out there by the Friends of the Airport, so I think they're getting quite a number of volunteers lined up. And in the evening then, they will be having a open bar and a little dance out there. So on the control end side, they will use hangar number 99 as their control center, security and traffic control. I believe Tom said they have about 20 Explorers lined up along with the Civil Air Patrol. Fencing, the FAA requires a 500-foot setback whenever the show is going on, so that fence will be intact there. Parking, they are asking to use airport view as noted on there. Camping, underwing camping, if anybody doesn't know what that is, pilots will fly in, go to a designated spot and put up a tent for the evening. And also, they're asking that they are allowed to have their volunteers pull campers out on site there. Let's see, they do have first aid station set up. And the FAA, I know that was out on site, did a preview out there, and they are planning to be back on the day of the show with they are asking to use one of our Public Works vehicles as their site control tower, so to speak. So we do have one representative here from the Friends of the Airport. So Harlan, I don't know if you want to add anything to this, or?
No, that sounds pretty much about all of it there. So then the FAA will be there from the FISCO, that will be controlling our safety operations and all that stuff. And then the Rochester Air Traffic Control Center will have a temporary tower on the Public Works field doing our, probably the only time things will have a control tower at ground control frequency, and they'll take care of all the airflow traffic of the airplanes.
All right. Well, if that's not exciting, I don't know what is.
Yeah, it should be fun.
All right.
I'll make the motion to approve the air show use of the city lots in the airport viewport. For event parking, allow camping within city limits, both for volunteers and underwing camping for pilots, and allow a band and beer garden through Queen Bee's Bar and Grill licensing at the airport.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Paul Thielen, as stated there on the action sheet to approve the air show. Any discussion on that?
Just, I was looking at the ad, which is very nice. The air show itself is free. The band, music, the dance is $10.
That's correct. Yep, the air show is free, parking's free. The only thing that'll be a paid thing is our food and then airplane rides. And the rest of the stuff should be free other than the band in the evening.
Any other questions? All right, hearing and seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None? That carries. Okay, then,
I'll make the motion to approve Resolution 2021-13, authorizing retail on-sale liquor license to dispense intoxicating liquor at a community festival.
Second.
we have a motion made by Hertzberg, seconded by Soini, to approve Resolution 2021-13, authorizing the retail on-sale liquor license. Any discussion on that? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None? That carries. All right. Scheduling a working session. We've identified a potential date of next Tuesday. Does anyone have any conflicts with that?
I don't.
It's the 22nd?
Yep.
I can make it work.
Okay. Jean can be here if she has to.
Oh, I'll be here, but I wind up at 5.
You'll be physically here.
Right. I'll be here.
All right, sounds like it works for everyone. Is there a motion to approve? Or to set, I guess?
Make the motion to set a special city council working session for Tuesday, June 22nd at 6 PM.
Okay.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Thielen, to set a special city council working session for Tuesday, June 22nd at 6 PM. Any discussion on that? None. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. That carries. Okay, on to the old business. Ron with the street lighting at Veterans and Airport View.
Okay, we had a request for a street lighting at this here intersection. This was on our agenda. We did pull it off to look at. Actually, it'd be a third option, which would be the extending the decorative lighting out over Veterans Drive down to Airport View. We did contact MnDOT and talk to an electrician, and MnDOT will not allow us to tie into their service box, so that somewhat makes it very expensive. The decorative lighting, the poles themselves cost about $7,000 each, so just the materials we had would have approximately $14,000 plus another probably $8,000 to $10,000 in installation costs, wiring underground. So that would really, it would push the monthly fee up to about $60 a month. And at this point, that would not make sense. So the Public Works previously had recommended option number 1 there, and then a special assessment to the benefiting properties. The current one out there has agreed to this amount. It would be the 6 lots at the $515.50 per lot. That is with the city picking up 1/2 of the cost of it.
That's a different figure than we have here. We have 5 lots at 618.
Correction, you are correct. It is 5 lots.
Okay.
My mistake.
Yeah, we talked about
We
that.
talked about that.
The motion was for
Correct,
5.
yes, yep.
Okay.
So it'd be $618.60.
And this is assessed to whoever will buy this
It would
lot.
be billed to the current resident that's out there, and the rest of them would be done by special assessment. Well, they would be deferred for the time being. Deferred assessment, yes.
So would they be collectible upon sale of the lot?
Correct, yes.
I'll make the motion to install 2 streetlights at Airport View and Veterans Drive. Option 1 at $6,186, with the city paying half the cost, the remainder being paid by the 5 lots totaling $618.60 each.
And with each of those lots being in an assessment that's collectible on sale, yes?
Correct.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Soini, to install 2 streetlights at Airport View and Veterans Drive at a cost of $6,186, with the city paying half and the remainder being paid by the 5 lots, totaling $618.60 each, with one being paid immediately and the others to be specially assessed, deferred, and due on sale. Any further discussion on that? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. That carries. All right. The airport amendment, the operation grant. Ron.
Okay, our O&M monies that we did get from MnDOT and from the additional from the COVID, that was in that $30,000 there. We did not have it spent, all of it spent to this point. They are requiring that we do an extension, and that would give us all the way till May of 2024 to expend the money. I don't think that is going to be a problem at all, but they are requiring that we do the extension at this time.
All right. Questions for Ron?
Make a motion to approve the amendment number 2, State of Minnesota Airport Maintenance and Operation Grant Contract and authorize the mayor and city administrator to sign the necessary documents.
Second.
Motion by Soini, seconded by Hertzberg to approve the amendment number 2, State of Minnesota Airport Maintenance and Operation Grant, contract number 1033533, and authorize the mayor and city administrator to sign. Any further discussion on that? None? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None? That carries. Right, the bond levy transfers. These came from our debt management study, transferring out to the bonds. I didn't get any special notes from Belinda. These are pretty straightforward administrative things that are recommended and done each year.
Motion to approve the 2021 budgeted bond levy transfer of $298,266.
Second.
Motion by Soini, seconded by Thielen, to approve the 2021 budgeted bond levy transfer of $298,266. Any further discussion on that? None? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None? That carries. All right. Transfer from the capital improvement to the water equipment replacement, sewer replacement. Another annual transfer from Belinda. Ron, I don't know if you have any information about this other than what's here, but otherwise we'd be looking for a motion to approve the transfer.
We've done this, this is the second or third year, I believe,
I believe so, yeah.
to fund the 2018 truck. I'll make the motion to transfer $1,320 for the 2018 Chevy Silverado.
Oh, are you on the wrong one?
No.
Am I on the wrong one?
You're, yes.
Sorry, I'm on the wrong one.
Okay, I'll still fund the 121 General Capital Improvement Building Inspector to funds 111 water equipment replacement and 116 sewer equipment replacement for half the cost of the 2018 Chevy Silverado, $13,200 to be paid over a 10-year period starting in 2018.
Okay, we have a motion by Hertzberg. Is there a second? Seconded by Soini. As stated on the action sheet, transfer $1,320 from Fund 121 to Fund 111 and 116. Any further discussion on that? None. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. That carries. All right, now going to letter F, which is where I was before. The 27,782 transfer for the stormwater utility project.
I'll make a motion to transfer $27,782 from Fund 120 Street Capital Improvement Stormwater to Fund 537, 2019 Improvement Debt Fund for Stormwater Utilities on the 2019 street project.
Second.
We have a motion by Soini, seconded by Thielen. As indicated on the action sheet there, to transfer $27,782 from Fund 120 to Fund 537. Any discussion on that? None. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. That carries. All right, the general fund budgeted transfers on page 44. I think Jennifer would have a lot of fun if we picked and chose which ones we were going to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve the 2021 general fund budgeted transfers.
I have a question first.
Okay, can we get a second before we go into any discussion?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Soini, seconded by Brick, and then we have a question.
About the fourth line down, it says that there's transfer 17,000 from general fund to the police capital improvement fund, of which 5,000 is designated for the K-9 program. Should we put that on hold till we can discuss that at a later date?
You don't have a separate K-9 capital improvement program, do you? It's all part of the same capital improvement fund?
I believe they set one up. But 17 is normally what we would budget anyways. We dropped off quite a bit this year. 17,000 per year for the PD is what's necessary just for our normal equipment, so I would assume even if we transferred over and they put it in that separate fund, that it could just simply be moved over to the cities, or over to
Okay.
the PD CIP.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that.
I figured you'd find a home for it. Not that I necessarily agree, but
And actually, while we were sitting here, got a message from Belinda that they are the same fund.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Must just be two different line items then within that fund or something.
Something where she keeps track of.
All right, so, does that answer your question?
Yes, that's,
So then we do have a motion by Soini, seconded by Brick, to approve the transfers. Any further discussion on those? Hearing and seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
aye.
All opposed? None. That carries. All right, liquor fund budgeted transfer. No. Yep, sorry. My letters are getting away from me. Liquor store budgeted transfer.
It's a budgeted transfer. I'll make the motion to approve the 2021 liquor fund budgeted transfer.
Okay, we have a motion by Soini. Do we have a second?
I have a question on the, this isn't building fund, is it like equipment or like for cooler or what is your capital?
Can we get a second first? Just to make sure we're,
I'll second it.
you'll second it? Okay, and then you had a question?
The question is, what is the capital improvement fund used for? Because it's not building.
It is towards the building. Anything in the capital improvement is whatever, if it's building or it can be.
Because they have a separate building fund, I believe.
No, I don't, Jennifer, I don't think so, is it?
Yeah. I've seen the amount, there's like 300,000 in the building fund, if I remember right. So they must have,
Well, if it's not, then it's for equipment, because he
Right.
coolers and that sort of
that's what I'm thinking.
The treasurer in the sky says it's equipment and building.
Oh. Because I thought it'd be a bigger contribution than that.
Well, there was some earlier in the year. I thought it was, oh, we budgeted 30,
Yeah, we did an excess from
yeah,
excess profits.
but I think for the budget, we actually did a little more.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
More or less.
We can always find out for sure.
Yeah. All right, so then we do have a motion by Soini, seconded by Hertzberg, to approve the liquor store transfer. Any further discussion? None. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. That carries.
I'm abstaining, sorry.
Okay, we have one abstention by Brick. All right, then we have the water and sewer funds transfer. We'd be looking for a motion to approve the,
I will make the motion to approve the 2021 water and sewer funds budgeted transfers.
I'll second it.
a motion by Hertzberg, seconded by Thielen. Any discussion on that? None, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. And that carries. I forgot to restate it, the motion was as on the action sheet. Okay. That's it, then we just have our informational, which includes the liquor store reports, the investment reports, all the other things that we have there, along with our garbage rates for West